So I'm here today to talk about endpoint assessment, and endpoint assessment is specific to apprenticeship standards. So throughout the standard, an apprentice will demonstrate their knowledge, skills, understanding, and then at the end of the standard there will be independent, separate endpoint assessment across the standard to ensure that they're occupationally competent. Currently, the Skills Funding Agency has responsibility to operate and administer the register of apprentice assessment organisations. So any organisation who wishes to undertake endpoint assessment needs to apply to the agency to go on the register. We have an application process, and absolutely critical in that process is that the organisation, of course, must prove that it's got assessment experience and expertise. But what employers have told us is they also want those organisations to have occupational credibility. So, for instance, it's no good me trying to assess because I've been out of design, which I trained in for far too long. It's about occupationally relevant, up-to-date experience, knowledge, practice, combined with the ability to assess. And this is very different from anything we've seen before. Of course, on the register, we have a mix of awarding organisations, professional bodies, independent training providers, colleges, employers. What binds them together is they match the assessment expertise and the occupational expertise. Organisations on the register will be subject to external quality assurance, and that will be overseen by the new Institute for Apprentices. And also we will work in collaboration with those organisations themselves. We're building this from afresh. It's a community of practitioners. It's very much about us learning from those organisations, understanding the practice, understanding the challenges, and working together with those organisations, with the Institute, with government, with other EQA organisations, professional bodies, Ofqual, to make sure that we deliver a robust, high-quality endpoint assessment service. It's early days. We're building that community. We've got over 40 organisations who are approved to assess against over 80 standards. We have particular standards we're targeting where we know they're a priority to get an assessment organisation there. As I said, we're learning from those organisations. We're understanding what does it take to deliver high quality, robust endpoint assessment, and we want to learn as we go along. Okay. It's very challenging. No organisation will go into this area lightly because it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of building of the infrastructure, but it's certainly well worth it. We have a support programme from the Education and Training Foundation being driven by AELP and the Strategic Development Network, who are supporting organisations in making an application, developing the capacity, learning from it, from what it takes to be an assessment organisation. And we think over a period of time we will establish the market, and we want to understand what are the drivers in the market, how does this operate, but we've always been very clear what's tantamount to us is quality. So organisations have to fit the bar, they have to match our criteria, and then they are approved, and critically they are there on the register for an employer to select. Employer-driven system, the employer will select the organisation, and then the organisation, the provider, the employer will work together. And the assessment organisation at the end will deliver that independent assessment. And that's not to say they just come in at the end and walk away. It is an endpoint assessment service. They need to understand very early on how they will work with the provider, how they will work with the employer to deliver that robust assessment.